Okay, starting.
Okay, right. Welcome to Shankaran IS. So today we have to discuss one of the important areas, that is advent of Europeans. So one of the important areas, advent of Europeans. So these Europeans came to India, you know well. Previously what happened in the sense, so this good relations existed between India and other European continent countries also. But gradually what happened, especially in ancient Indian history, they had good relations. But later, their relations were completely strained. So at that moment what happened, in modern period, once again the relations they were started. So for this purpose what happened, till 1453, these Europeans, till 1453 AD, so 1453 AD, these people, they were coming to India by taking roadways only. The roadways existed during that time by taking roadways from Constantinople. Old name of this one is Constantinople, but today we are calling Istanbul. So till 1453, these Europeans coming to Asian continent countries, not only India, many countries in Asian continent, because you know Asia is the biggest continent. Okay, 52% population living in Asian continent and 48% population living in remaining continents. Okay, so like that, till 1453 they were coming to Asian continents by taking roadways from Istanbul only. Istanbul. Previously this was called Constantinople. This was called how? It is called Constantinople. Okay, but what happened in the year 1453, this Constantinople, otherwise it is called Istanbul, this was occupied by Muhammad II. This ruler, especially Muhammad II, occupied this Istanbul region. Okay, Istanbul located there in Turkey. You know, Turkey is called the sick man of Europe because it was not developed. Hence, we are calling this Turkey as sick man of Europe, like that we are calling. This Muhammad II occupied this completely Istanbul region. Okay, so this Istanbul that was occupied. At this moment, this Muhammad II analyzed the previous history. These Europeans belong to Christianity. You know, well, these Europeans belong to Christianity and this Muhammad II belongs to Islam religion. Previously, what happened in the sense between this Christianity and this Islam? So if you see, religious wars that took place. Religious wars we are calling. Religious wars. These wars are called crusades. These religious wars are called crusades we are calling. 9 crusade wars that took place. 9 crusade wars that took place between Christianity and Islam. At this moment, he thought that why should I allow these Europeans to go through this Constantinople or Istanbul? Because they belong to Christianity, I belong to Islam. Once again, yes, once again Silk Route that covers completely in Asian continent. In Asian continent from China, Middle Asia, it goes, okay. It covers all the areas. So like that, that's why what happened in the sense. So this Muhammad II completely closed down the roads which existed in Istanbul region completely because he did not accept this Christianity. At the same time, he thought about, so once again war may take place between Christianity and Islam. That's why better to avoid these people like that. He completely stopped or closed down all the roads which existed in this Istanbul. At this moment only, the Europeans, they started discovering sea routes. Okay, with this incident only what happened? They started discovering sea routes. Europeans, these Europeans, they started discovering sea routes. They started discovering sea routes. So among these Europeans, Portuguese people, they were the first people who started discovering sea routes, like that it is said. So who were the first people? The Portuguese, they were the first people who started this one. And Portuguese, they were the first people who came to India. Portuguese, they were the first people who came to India. Second people who came to India, the Dutch, they were the second people came to India. Third people who came to India, the British, they were the people who came to India. Fourth one, the Danes or Danish. So these Danes, they were the fourth people. Last one to come to India, the French, like that it was said. Okay, Portuguese, they came in the year 1498. They people came in the year 1498. The Dutch came in the year 1605. The British in the year 1608. and the Danes in the year 1620. So these people in the year 1665, the French. Up to what extent they continued in India, these people, Europeans, after coming to India, up to what extent they continued in India. The Portuguese people, they continued in India till 1961. They people, the Dutch continued in India till 1759. They started moving back in 1759. The British in the year 1947, India became free from the clutches of the British, like that they left India in 1947. Then Danes in the year 1845. Only two centers existed to this. Danes are Danish. One is Serampur, that is located in West Bengal, and one is Tranquebar, that is located in, so there is Madras, especially Tamil Nadu. These two centers were given to the British and they vacated India in 1845. And the French vacated India in the year 1955. So like this, these are the people who came to India then. So who was the first one who started this navigation from this Portugal? If we see this one, in the period of this one, what happened? Portugal. So this Portuguese ruler, this Portugal we are calling. So Portugal ruler was Henry. This Henry supported this navigation completely, we can say. Henry, he himself visited different places at the same time. So he supported this navigation. With the help of this Henry, what happened? Many people started moving to different regions also to identify or to discover new lands and new islands. Okay. For this purpose, this Henry, he started a naval college. He started naval college there at Lisbon. Lisbon, that is the capital of this Portugal. Lisbon, that is the capital of Portugal. Okay, this naval college that was started by this one there at Lisbon. By taking the help and guidelines of this, especially what happened, they people, captains and navigators or sailors, they started moving to different islands, we can say. With the help of this Henry, what happened? In the year 1487, Bartholomew Dias, what happened in the sense, he started navigation and he reached this South Africa. He reached South African tip. He reached which place? South African tip only. When he reached this South African tip, what happened? So there is during that time, heavy storms existed. Storms means gale or gust, heavy rain, having wind also, speedy winds with rain, that is called, we can call it as gale. Otherwise, this one is also called gust, or we are calling them storms. Heavy storms existed in South African region, South African tip. That's why this Bartholomew Dias named this South African tip as a land of storms. It was called, how in the sense, it was called land of storms, like that. He named this South African tip. Okay, you know this South Africa, African continent is like this, African continent that is like this. So there is African continent we are calling. In this especially South African region. So here what happened in the sense, he named this one as South African tip, was called land of storms by. So it was called what? Land of storms. Okay. So by this Bartholomew Dias, like that, he did not move forward because of these storms, heavy storms. Okay. After this, what happened? John II, he started navigating. Here is Portugal. So Portugal. This was in Spain. So this one is Portugal. This one is Spain. So from Portugal all along they came to this one. So with the help of this Portuguese ruler, so John II, this John II also started navigation. This one is John II, we can say. This John II also started navigation. This John II, he also reached this South African tip, we can say. And he named this one as this. So John II named this one as Cape of Good Hope. So this one is called Cape of Good Hope. He named this one as Cape of Good Hope. He named this one as, how in the sense, it was called Cape of Good Hope by this John II. Like that. So that also one of the important things which happened in the period of this one. After this only, what happened in the sense, after this John II, Vasco da Gama, he started navigation. This Vasco da Gama, he started navigation in the year 1497. So last part only, and he reached this South Africa in 1498 beginning. So he reached this South Africa. He reached this South Africa in which year? In the year 1498, the beginning only he reached this South Africa. He stayed there in South Africa for some time. His main ambition, main intention, he decided to discover sea route to India. Hence, he asked other navigators, you have to support me. This is the map. How to move to India, how to discover sea route, how to move like that. When he questioned other navigators, they said that you can take the help of one of the merchant from India. Gujarati merchant is living in South Africa. Sometimes he is coming from Gujarat and he was basically diamond merchant. He was moving back to India. That's why you can take the help of Gujarati merchant like that. They said to this one, Gujarati merchant. You can take the help of this Gujarati merchant like that. They said. At this moment, he took the help of this Gujarati merchant. His name Abdul Mazid. His name is Abdul Mazid. So he took the help. When this Vasco da Gama met Abdul Mazid, he also said that I am also waiting for someone because all alone. So to reach India, it takes some time, and at the same time something happens, it is not known. That's why I am also waiting for somebody. Okay. So if you accompany me, then it's not a problem. Both can move together like that. He said to whom? He said to Vasco da Gama. Like that, they started navigation. At last, this Vasco da Gama and Abdul Mazid. Okay. So they people reached this Calicut. They reached this Vasco da Gama. This Vasco da Gama and this Abdul Mazid. They reached Calicut region. So you know this Calicut that's located there in Kerala. Calicut located where? In Kerala only this located. They reached this Calicut. That's in the year that is on May 17th. That is on May 17th. That is 1498 we can say. So King of Calicut was Jamarin. This Jamarin welcomed these people and gave permission. Jamarin, he was the ruler. He was the ruler of Calicut or King of Calicut like that we can say. He gave permission to these people and welcomed these people. Good hospitality that was shown towards this Vasco da Gama. So like that all the things went well. Then Vasco da Gama came to know that spices are very cheap in India, especially in South India. Maybe cloves, maybe pepper or cardamom or other spices. They are very so cheap like that. 60 times we can get benefits or profits like that. He understood and decided to have this trade relations with this India. Like that he moved back we can say. Okay. So this one what happened? He moved back to Portugal and explained all the things too. So this ruler of Portugal, Emmanuel. So ruler of so this Portugal during that one. So during that time was Emmanuel. Okay, so he explained everything to Vasco da Gama, explained everything to Portuguese ruler. So then Portugal decided that it is better to establish trade relations with India. So at this moment, so he came to Vasco da Gama, came second time, that's in the year 1502. In which year? In the year 1502. Once again he came to India, like that it was such. Okay, so then after if we see, Portugal government appointed governor in India. This Portugal government This Portugal government appointed governor in India to look after things. Governor. His name is in the year 1503 only he was appointed. In which year? In the year 1503 only he was appointed. So he was Francisco de Almeida. His name Francisco. This Francisco de Almeida. This Francisco de Almeida was appointed as first governor we can say. This Francisco de Almeida, so he established the things well. During that time what happened? One is Calicut, one is Cochin. These are the places which existed during that time for their trade and commerce. One is Calicut, one of the places. At the same time Cochin, that is also one of the important places they existed during that time. And this Francisco de Almeida, he thought that better to improve our trade and commerce, better to develop this trade and commerce because India is highly populated country. At the same time, we are the only people who are establishing this trade and commerce in India. That's why we have to do something. And ours should become monopoly. So others must not come like that. He introduced one policy, that is blue water policy that was introduced. Suppose if we introduce this one, naturally sometimes other Europeans may or may not like that, he thought. That's why this Francisco de Almeida, he introduced blue water policy. This blue water policy that was introduced by this Francisco de Almeida. Who introduced this one? This is introduced by Francisco de Almeida only introduced this one. Francisco de Almeida. Having authority or command over sea trade, that is called blue water policy. What is this authority or command over sea trade means? He said that we are the people who discovered sea route to India. Suppose if any other European continent country persons, if they come to India by taking the same sea route, you have to pay tax like that, he said. At this moment, this is called what? Blue water policy. That is nothing but authority or command over sea trade. Okay. So like that, he introduced this one, and Francisco de Almeida, especially what happened? In establishing the centers, in establishing their activities in South Indian especially region, so he thought and he continued for some time. And in the year 1509, he was called back. Francisco de Almeida, he was called back in 1509. In 1509, this Portugal government appointed Alfonso de Albuquerque. Alfonso de Albuquerque. Alfonso de Albuquerque was appointed. So this Alfonso de Albuquerque, what happened? Abolished blue water policy. He abolished blue water policy. Blue water policy that was abolished by this one. Who abolished this one? Alfonso de Albuquerque. And this Alfonso de Albuquerque, so we are calling this one as the real founder of Portuguese power in India. He was the real founder of Portuguese power in India. Portuguese. He was the real founder of Portuguese power in India, like that we can say. Because he thought that wherever we want to establish trade and commerce, wherever we want to, so there is install our these things, so we have to get permission from that ruler. It is better to occupy some places like that, he thought. At this moment, what happened? Decided to occupy this Goa. Then in the year 1510 only, Goa came under the control of these people. In which year? In 1510 only, they occupied this Goa. Old name of Goa, old name of this Goa is Revati Dvipa. It is called what? Revati Dvipa, like that it was said. Old name of this one is called Revati Dvipa. Okay, so like that Goa. In occupying this Goa, he took the help of Vijayanagar Emperor Sri Krishna Deva Raya. So this Alfonso de Albuquerque. This Alfonso de Albuquerque. He took the help of, so this Sri Krishna Deva Raya, Vijayanagar ruler, Sri Krishna Deva Raya. This Sri Krishna Deva Raya, he was the richest ruler in the country during that time. Okay, per day income was 12,000 rupees. Okay, he was the greatest ruler. The period of this Sri Krishna Deva Raya that was started in the year 1509. It was started in which year? In the year 1509, continued till 1529. Okay, that's the period of this Sri Krishna Deva Raya. Like that, Sri Krishna Deva Raya sent so naval help to Alfonso de Albuquerque. He sent his naval help. So naval force under Timozu. He sent naval force. So this naval force was sent under Timozu. Who was this one? Timozu, like that it was said. Okay. So he sent naval help under Timozu. With that, what happened? So they occupied all these places, especially Goa came under their control. After that, Daman, Dayu, Salsette, Bessain, so okay, Bombay, Calicut, Cochin, etc. All these came under the control of the Portuguese, like that we can say. So like this, what happened? Portuguese established their trading centers in India, and in the year 1530 only Goa became their main center. In 1530, Goa became the main center of the Portuguese. The main center. It became the main center of the Portuguese, like that it was said. It became the main center of the Portuguese. So when did this become in the sense? In 1530 only, it became the main center of the Portuguese, like that it was said. Okay, which year? In the year 1530 only, that became the main center of the Portuguese. In the period of this Nano de Cunha. So there is in the period of Nano de Cunha only. Who was the governor when Goa became the main center. Who was the governor? Governor of the Portuguese during that time was Nano de Cunha. Okay, that you have to remember. Goa became the main center in the period of Nano de Cunha, like that it is said. They established many centers, even in Hooghly also they established. In Hooghly also what happened in the sense they established. In Hooghly also they established their center. Hooghly comes in West Bengal, you know well. So from Hooghly once again they were vacated by this Shah Jahan. So they completely left Hooghly. So Shah Jahan, who vacated, asked them to vacate Hooghly. This Shah Jahan, Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan asked them to leave this Hooghly because slave trade that was also continued by these people. Slave trade, that is one. At the same time, so what happened from especially, so these maid servants existed for this Shah Jahan's wife. So once what happened, these Portuguese merchants misbehaved with these maid servants of Mumtaz Begum. That's also one of the reasons. And slave trade that was continued by these people there in this one. Slave trade, okay. With all this what happened, they asked these people to vacate Hooghly. Like that they vacated Hooghly at last. Okay, then so this Sri Krishna Deva Raya, he took the help of the Portuguese people. Okay, with the help of Portuguese engineers, so these canals were established to the river Tungabhadra, you know well. Okay, he designed plans for the canals with the help of Portuguese engineers. Sri Krishna Deva Raya. Sri Krishna Deva Raya. The Sri Krishna Deva Raya, he was the greatest ruler in Vijayanagar Empire, belongs to Tuluva dynasty. You know, 4 dynasties administered Vijayanagar Empire. Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, Araviti dynasty administered. In that, Sri Krishna Deva Raya belongs to Tuluva dynasty. That you have to remember. Sri Krishna Deva Raya belongs to Tuluva dynasty. He took the help of the Portuguese. You know well. So at the same time, horses were also imported by this one. Good quality horses were imported by Sri Krishna Deva Raya from the Portuguese. That's one of the things. He designed especially plans for the canals. Okay, so plans for canals that was also done with the help of the Portuguese, like that it was said. Who were the Portuguese travelers who visited the court of Sri Krishna Deva Raya? So one is Domingo Pace, travelers. These Portuguese travelers who visited the court of this one. One is Domingo Pace. One is Domingo Pace visited. Domingo Pace. One is Nunes. And one is Barbosa. Domingo Pace, Nunes, Barbosa. These 3 visited the court of this Sri Krishna Deva Raya. In this Domingo Pace, he described especially Sri Krishna Deva Raya. Sri Krishna Deva Raya is not so tall or not so short. On the face we can see some black spots like that. Who said it is Domingo Pace? Coming to Nunes and Barbosa said about even the conditions of society. Vegetarians are living in society, non-vegetarians are living in society, like that it was said. At the same time they said about prostitution and beggary. Especially on beggars also they are collecting the tax, that is Gunachari. On prostitution they are collecting the tax, Sita tax. Okay, it was called Sita tax, like that it was said. So some said that Gunachari, like that. Originally it is Sita tax. Okay, Sita, she was very sacred, pious woman. Against this one only they collected especially this prostitution that existed. That's why this prostitution tax, especially that is Sita tax, like that it was said. Okay, Gunachari, like that they said. One is on beggary, one is on this one. So like this, conditions were said by whom in the sense? Nunes and Barbosa said about conditions. Anyhow, the Portuguese people, with these people, there is the Christianity that was propagated. They started propagating this Christianity also in India. At the same time, they visited many places, okay, number of places. And they were the last people to come to Andhra. So these Portuguese, they were the first people to come to India, you know well, that's in the year 1498. But when did they come to Andhra? They came to Andhra in the year 1670. In which year? The Portuguese people, they were the last people to come to, Andhra, to come to this Andhra, they were the last people, like that it is said. They are the last people. Because they came to Andhra, Machilipatnam in 1670. They came to Machilipatnam. They came to which place? Machilipatnam, like that it was said. During that time, Golconda Sultan was Abdullah Hussain Qutub Shah. He gave permission to these people. Who gave permission? Abdullah Hussain. Abdullah Hussain Qutub Shah. This Abdullah Hussain Qutub Shah, he gave permission to these people. Qutub Shah. Abdullah Hussain Qutub Shah, he gave permission to these people for their trade and commerce in Machilipatnam. Not only this one, Abdullah Hussain Qutub Shah gave permission, at the same time, a church was also established for these people in Machilipatnam. A church was constructed there at Machilipatnam, like that it was said. So all these important things, they happened in the period of the Portuguese, you have to understand. Then, what is the contribution? What things were introduced by these Portuguese people? They were the people who brought printing press to India. These Portuguese. The Portuguese, they were the people. They brought this printing press to India. Printing press. Printing press that was invented by John Gutenberg. John Gutenberg. First time it was used in Germany. Okay, first time it was used where in the sense in Germany. First book published on this printing press, that is Bible. Bible, that was the first book which is printed. Even in Telugu also Bible. Telugu also Bible. Benjamin Schulz. Benjamin Schulz, he was the person who took some Telugu people also and went to Germany, and in Germany, Halle. Name of the place is Halle. There in Halle only this Bible, in Telugu also it was published. So like that they brought printing press, that is one. Cashew nuts. Cashew nuts, they were introduced by this one. Okay. So at the same time, tea, coffee, they were introduced by these people. Tea, coffee. So tea, coffee plants, they were also introduced by these people, like that it was said. Okay. So then many other things, especially what happened, chilies. Green chilies also. So these green chilies, they were also introduced by. So there is one. Previously pepper that was used, and small chilies, they existed in India. And second as that one, green chilies, they were also introduced by these people, like that it was said. So many things are introduced in India by these people. Okay. So like this, what happened in the sense, many things went well in the period of these people. That's one of the important things went well. But at last what happened, many Europeans came to India, competition that was started. So because the Dutch came, the British came, the French came, like the Danes, all these. So at this moment what happened, so one after the other, they lost their trading centers. At last, Goa, Daman, Diu, they continued. Even India got independence in 1947. They did not leave India. These Portuguese people, they did not leave this India. But at last, what happened? Indian government became the republic. Then also they did not leave India. At last, in 1961, in the year 1961 only, Operation Vijay that was introduced. Operation Vijay, okay, in the period of Jawaharlal Nehru. Because of this Operation Vijay, what happened? They are forcibly sent out. Some people during that time also, what happened? Who came in 1930s, 1940s to India, so from Portugal, so they already, so centuries together they lived, they established, they became Indian citizens. We are living here, we purchased properties, agriculture, all the things developed. We are Indians only, like that they continued. But who did not accept to become Indians, what happened? They accepted to move back to Portugal. But some people during that time, they thought that, no, we want to settle here only, want to become Indian citizens only, like that. They said, and they married Indian women. And they became citizens of India during this period in 1961 also. Some people, they married Indian women and became Indian citizens. Who did not like to become Indian citizens, what happened? They left India with this Operation Vijay. So like this, Portuguese people, they were the first people to come to India, and they were the last people who left India. That you have to remember. Okay. So among these Europeans, advent of Europeans, so anyhow, they are the first people who reached and who came to India, established things in India, and especially this Christianity that is also propagated by these people. So like that, many things went well in the period of the Portuguese. So one of the important areas we have to remember. Okay, thank you.